What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another episode of the Turnpike Titans podcast. I am joined, as always, by my two co-hosts, Vin and Jarrett. This is the Matrix, where we finally have entered it. It took a while. It took how many years now? 7 years to get back to the Matrix. But we have fully entered, and even Keanu Reeves, I don't think could save us out of this one. So we're going to dive right into this funeral, if you wish, of the 2022 Titans. As if you're watching on YouTube, you could probably see two of my co-hosts here wearing black. I unfortunately missed the memo, or I certainly would have joined in. So let's just jump into it. The Titans fall to the Buffalo Bills by a final score of 41-7. Yes, you can replay that if you thought it was some sort of miscommunication. 41-7. It was a complete embarrassment from pretty much, I'd say, second quarter on. Coaching embarrassment, player embarrassment, just complete and utter disaster, and all of our nightmares and visions are starting to slowly become reality. So as always, I give your first takes on the game, and then, I'll go on my rant, and then hopefully you guys cut me off this time because I rewatched last week's and I was completely way too long, and I don't want to do that again. So Vin, start us off. Where do you stand right now? And if I can guess, it's going to be pretty close to me and Jarrett.
Yeah, and the rest of the Titans Nation, or whatever the fuck you want to call our goofy fucking fan base. Yeah, I am wearing black because this is the funeral of their season. Jared and I, same wavelength. Sal, I mean, I understand the Yankees are playing tonight. I guess I don't fucking know,
Yes.
but yeah, I mean, man. I make fun of people when I say you're like an old Italian woman, you're like a deep ender, you're this, you're that. Like, relax. This season seems a little different so far of how out of sorts we've looked. I mean, we've been spoiled the last 5-6 years, competitive. What was a couple years ago? We started out 5 or 6-0. So I guess we're not used to it. But there'd be a difference if we played two really good teams and fought hard and lost close games. But we've lost 2 weeks now in just fucking awful, devastating, embarrassing standards. So many different words you can use. I mean, week 1 to give the fucking game to the Giants, and then last night to just fucking lay down and look pitiful and sad in every aspect of the game, all 3 fucking phases. I mean, it's a look we haven't seen this team had in a long time, which is why I think there's a bit of instant panic within the fan base, because I think a lot of us feel the same way. You're always going to have your outliers, but from top to bottom, I mean, I know we'll get into specifics as the game goes on, but I mean, Henry looked sluggish. The coaching was fucking, why do you not challenge the Amani Hooker interception? The play calling still goofy and vanilla and fucking like he's and then the special teams with the fucking muff punt again from this kid who's supposed to be the next fucking guy to move the chains and be the next white fucking slot Welker, whoever the fuck. I don't think so. Not so fast, guys. I don't know, And even when Willis came in, he fucking fumbled. So it was just a memo tonight that everyone that got in that fucking game played like shit. I stopped screaming and yelling around 17-7 because I just knew where the game was headed. And I just laughed at the TV by the time it was 31-7. And I wanted to turn it off, but I couldn't. I wanted to see every fucking second. I wanted their fan base to see every second of their fucking show they put on for us. And God help us next week, because if it wasn't do or die this week, it's definitely do or die this week. So that was my Sal-like rant. I will pass it on to my other brother in mourning who picked up the memo, Father Jared, who at least I'm giving them the courtesy of, the Titans on the hat. He don't give a fuck tonight. He's repping the Cardinals and draft. How much money you have to bet to get that free shirt, you sick fuck?
Who made draft picks? It's something. It's something. But to even start, I want to apologize for my voice if it's a little froggy because I'm still recovering. Like I was telling Sal at a wedding this weekend. So, but I don't even know where to start with this team. So we can all talk about the game in general, but I'm gonna attack what I've seen so far the last 2 weeks. And like I said, this I haven't been this strong since 2014, and probably the same with you guys. And it's got to start at the top with John Robinson and Mike Ravel. They said they wanted to come into this season and surround their team and their quarterback with talent. And obviously that hasn't shown the last 2 weeks. Arguably, you're trading away your franchise and greatest wide receiver in A.J. Brown and the biggest playmaker next to Derrick Henry and Chris Johnson in the franchise. And you bring a guy in like Robert Woods coming off an ACL injury, and you don't know if you're going to get anything from him or be the same Robert Woods coming, from LA. You bring in 3 rookie pass catchers, and you're relying on 3 rookies to make a difference in your offense. You're starting a rookie right tackle, and you have no idea what you're getting from him. And right now, as the line goes, like I tweeted this afternoon, you have 2 starting backups in your starting lineup. How is that surrounding your talent? We've whiffed on multiple draft picks in the first and second round, and obviously this is all showing. And even on the defensive side of the ball, where you're starting 3 starting cornerbacks and you're getting torched, 3 rookie starting cornerbacks, and you're getting torched by Stephon Diggs and Sterling Shepard back-to-back weeks. So right now it's an utter embarrassment, and I yield back to you guys so we talk about this game all together.
Yeah, I mean, you guys hit it on the head, and I've said it a bunch of times already on Twitter. I did a rant yesterday. I did a rant this morning. It's a bad football team. There's no way around it. Completely bad football team from top to bottom. Starting with coaching, middle is your starting lineup. Lastly is your depth. Everything is bad. Everything's bad. Your pass rush isn't what you expected it to be. I'll be the first one to say it. Outside of Jeffrey Simmons, you're not seeing the same push by Autry.
Oh.
Weaver, who's supposed to be coming in to help out, fill the void for Landry, isn't helping at all in the run defense. Can't fucking defend the run to save his life. Now Bud Dupree's hurt. Lawan's probably out for the year. You have no wide receiver depth. Even if you did have wide receiver depth, you can't fucking call a play to get somebody involved, get someone to make a play. It's a horrible football team. And I waited till this very podcast to utter the words that I'm about to utter. And again, it's not meant to be controversial. It's where we stand now at this very moment with what we have in depth and injuries. This is the worst team in the AFC South. This is the worst team in the AFC South. This team is worse than the Houston Texans right now. Okay? Because let me tell you what, Houston went to Denver, lost to them by a touchdown, fought them tooth and nail, had the entire city of Denver booing Russell Wilson, the coaching staff, because they kept letting him throw when they were running at ease, booing him. They went in there, lost by a touchdown, took Indy to a fucking tie. They're better coach. Lovie Smith is a football coach. That team is fighting their ass off for him. We're worse than the Jaguars in every facet, maybe outside of quarterback, right at the very moment. But then again, I mean, you can't even say that. You can't even say that. So no, not even in a quarterback.
Lawrence right fucking now.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, of course, a million times over. And then you got the Colts, who are also in the same boat as us. But look at it from a distance, from the outside looking in, who has the better opportunity to bounce back from 0-2, the Colts or the Titans? It's the Colts by a landslide. Okay? Say what you want about Jonathan Taylor. He didn't have the best game last week, obviously, but he's younger. He can catch. He's very good within the hash marks as well. He's probably has a better chance of getting going than Derrick Henry right now. The offensive line is probably better. Actually, no, not probably, definitely better. They got playmakers to catch the ball. They're in a better position to bounce back. We're not. We're terrible from top to bottom. And the biggest part is coaching. And it's a disaster. It's a laughing stock. A laughing stock. Again, Todd Downing has one good drive to start the game and is out of his skull, way over his head the rest of the game. This is just an everyday thing. This has been going on for almost 2 years now. Like I can't even like scream, yell, get red in the face anymore because it's just it's a joke. It's an absolute joke.
Last night,
so
definitely.
we're going to get into this. We're going to get into quarterback, defense, Malik Willis, who I'll just say right off the jump really quickly, I won't take a single thing away from that game as it pertains to Malik Willis. Not a fucking thing. He had like 4 drives. He averaged 1 throw a drive, and he ran into a guy and lost the ball. Would have been a first down, by the way, in Buffalo's territory. I'm not taking anything away from that game with him. We'll see when his time comes. It possibly could be this year, believe it or not. We'll get into that later. So let's jump into the game. Let's start off with the quarterback. Not a whole lot to say, in my opinion, except negative, but do your best to give an all-around grade on the performance of Ryan Tannehill. Jarrett, start us off.
I'm gonna still back him all the way, just because of the simple fact of he is a proven leader and he's proven to win for us. 1, 2, he's got a horrible offensive line, like I've said all day today. And how can he have weapons that guys can't get open? There's no clear threat on this team besides Derrick Henry. There was a glimpse of Treylon Burks a little bit yesterday, which I still don't understand why they're not trying to get him the ball, even to stretch the field a little bit. I mean, the tight end games, Chig is nowhere to be found. Hooper, they're trying to get involved, but there's so much pressure from the offensive line that our running game is struggling, and that's what's killing Ryan Tannehill. But overall, I'll give him like a B minus for the whole game. And I know that's going to be high for you guys.
Jarrett,
Listen to me. That's high for you guys.
Jarrett, do me a
I'm
favor,
telling you, man.
please. Whoever the dealer is that you're using right now,
Telling
I'd
you.
like his phone number.
I'm telling you, man.
A B minus.
A B minus. It's not all on him, like everyone says. Everyone says, oh, it's Todd Downing. Oh, it's Ryan Tannehill. Bench Ryan Tannehill. He needs receivers
I understand that.
to get separation, and they can't. There's no clear threat. And when you're forced to throw the ball because they know you're throwing the ball, because you can't run the ball because your line can't fucking block, you can't put everything on your quarterback. I understand why everyone's so mad, but you can't blame everything on him.
I'm not blaming everything on him. I'm not in the least bit, but he was abysmal. He was terrible.
He wasn't abysmal.
He was
abysmal because the 5 people in front of him were fucking horrible.
The pick 6 was utter disgrace.
I mean,
utter disgrace.
The game's over. The game's over.
Why does that matter? Why does that? Can Ryan Tannehill? Can Ryan Tannehill extend plays? Can Ryan Tannehill extend?
If I had to take one thing, if I had to take one thing away from him, the last 2 games, even in the playoff games, so the last 3 games, he has not used his legs like he used to.
So then he can't extend. You can't extend plays as a quarterback unless you're using your legs.
That's what I'm saying. He can, but he hasn't.
The only time
I'm asking you right now in 2022 is can Ryan Tannehill? No, he can't.
No, he can't. But he should be. So I don't know what's holding everybody back right now.
The only time he historically extended plays to is when it was a design QB roll.
Exactly.
He's not a quarterback that's going to sit in the pocket. To me, at least the last, he's only been on our team 4 years now. He's a little flat-footed in the pocket, to be honest.
More this year too.
He gets a little stiff. I think in general on the run, he's a problem. In the design run play, he's a problem. But I wouldn't say he has the innate ability to extend plays in my opinion. And I'll just intercept it from there. No pun intended. I'll give him a C because I can be in the middle of both you guys where he wasn't fucking good. The pick 6 was fucking bad all big game lost, so he was just fucking throwing it at that point to throw it. But it is hard to give someone a fair grade when their offensive line is abysmal. Taylor Lewan was out the second play of the game. Like Jarrett said, they have 2 backups as starters
and a rookie.
And Ben Jones is a little long in the tooth. Our rookie has looked decent at times, to be honest, but last night he's, going against Von Miller at times. I get it. And then the receiving core, it's just, he's never had any continuity, I should say, with any receiver he's had on the roster right now. And especially because AJ Brown is gone. You almost felt like he never had it with Corey Davis. He never had it with Julio. He hasn't really had it with NWI, I guess, at times. You know what I mean? The only one he really had it with was AJ, and now AJ is gone. So now we're rolling out a 32-year-old Robert Woods coming off an ACL, a rookie in Treylon Burks. So I think is like I said it last week, I feel great about this kid, going forward if we're going to be dog shit. At least I feel like we have a a real number one receiver. But then you got Phillips, you got who else am I leaving out? You got a rookie tight end.
Yeah,
You got
that's three rookies.
yeah,
And that's a recipe for disaster right now. I'm sorry. You don't bring in fucking veterans. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's
agree.
it's like I said, hard to be extra tough on him considering the supporting cast. But honestly, at this point, I know I'm saying it early. I kind of hope we're bad, and we can see what we can get out of Willis for 8 games, maybe in the middle of the season. I mean, listen, the fucked up part is, guys, we're gonna be in this division probably the majority of the year because 8 and 9 might win this division. It's happened before. Teams get in with a losing record. Seattle went with a losing record and won a playoff game. So as fucked up as it is, I think unless we start out 1-5. I think it going into week 6, if we're 2-3, 1-4, only going to be a game and a half out of the division lead.
Do you guys know what the schedule is for this coming week for the AFC South? If you don't, let me rattle it off for you. The Colts are facing the Chiefs.
Chiefs, yeah.
Okay. The Texans, who I give the best chance of winning of all 3 teams.
They're going to beat the Bears.
It's in Chicago. Chicago just got embarrassed. I wouldn't say they're definitely going to win. They're not favored to win.
A close game.
It's going to be a close game, but I still got to give the edge to Justin Fields at home. And then the Colts are playing the Chargers on the road.
Yeah.
So we're going to lose next week, which, by the way, we're going to lose next week. And we're still going to be a game out. So that's the thing. That's the crazy part. Vin, you said earlier, if it wasn't do or die last week, it's do or die this week. No, it ain't even do or die this week. And that's going to be the curse of everything because nothing's going to change while we still have an opportunity to make the playoffs because that's how stubborn this head coach and staff are. Now, to quickly get into Tannehill, I can't give him a B because, listen, you're not wrong in a lot of what you're saying, Jarrett. But the one thing you're missing is you can't elevate somebody's grade because of the fact that they weren't in a good situation to succeed, okay? Regardless of the coverage, regardless of the receivers, regardless of anything, he's not a playmaker. We know this now. I'm off the wagon again, okay? He gave me a taste. He said, here, listen, I'm going to fuck you in the face by letting the Giants come back, but I'm going to give you a little hint, a little taste, because you're going to be in the end zone watching me dance in the pocket a little bit. It's over. I have no hope. He's not a playmaker. He can't extend plays. He's supposed to be a fast quarterback, but he only runs when it's a RPO to the left, to the right. He doesn't step up in the pocket and scramble hardly ever. And the only few times he does is typically when the end zone's in sight, which is great because it means you're probably going to score a touchdown. That's why he has so many touchdowns. But outside of the red zone, he rarely scrambles through the hash marks. It's something you need to do in this league now. So again, my grade for him is a C+ because he wasn't abysmal in the first half. But this is a waste. It's a waste. Again, we're going to get into the playoffs. Whatever wild card team we see is going to be miles better than us because it's probably going to be the Chargers. It's probably going to be the Broncos. Okay. Dolphins. At least 3 of those teams are making the fucking playoffs. Dolphins. Yeah. Do we stand a chance in Nashville, in Miami, or on Neptune against the fucking Miami Dolphins right now? Arguably the hottest team in the NFL. No.
I got news for you. We don't have a chance against the Raiders coming in this week.
We are the worst team in our division. We are, folks. Right now, not before the season started. Right now, with the coaching and the injuries we have, we're the worst team in the division. And it makes you think scary thoughts like, if we're the worst team in the division, that's the worst division in football. I'm not even going to go there.
Give it another week. We're a week away from that.
But listen, we're at the doorstep, folks. This is really bad. We got absolutely obliterated, embarrassed by the Bills. Here I am thinking we're going to cover. Vegas is probably slamming their fist against the wall. They didn't make it 13.5 points.
Yep.
So, again, we're going to get into the next phase of this.
Let's just talk about the first half since we're on the first half right now. We made progressions starting off hot. That was the biggest thing from last year. We didn't start hot. Last two games, we scored two touchdowns on the opening drives. And then as the game went on, there's no in-game adjustments. Okay, we had a kill. There was a drive that got killed back from Ben Jones' face mask when we were all texting each other. That really killed the momentum right there. But leading up to now, after all that, you're down 17-7 late in the second quarter with 45 seconds left, and you get the ball at half. I believe we were on the 40 or 45 yard line of our own. So we needed 25 yards, maybe 30 yards to kick a field goal over there with Randy with 2 timeouts, and they let the fucking clock run out. Brian Tannehill even said that in the press conference. That was more of the coaching thing because we're getting the ball at halftime. Why can't you go for 3, down 17-10, come out at half, and possibly score and tie the game? And it's a whole different ball game from that point on. 17-17, 17-13, 17-10. Still, you never know. This coaching staff is abysmal, and the play calling and everything else for the last 2 weeks is just, even dating back to the Cincinnati game, man. The last 3 games has just been fucking gut wrenching for us.
Gotta let that one go.
Yeah, but those are 3 games. Those are the last 3 games we played.
And I mentioned it too.
Coaching staff and play calling and decision making and everything. And those last 3 games, because that's the last time we saw them play, have been fucking gut wrenching for us.
Listen, Mike Ravel lost his fan base at the end of the first half.
He lost it even more today with the press
conference. Again, well, yeah, and there's just too much content. We'd be over here for 5 hours to have talked about everything that this franchise has done wrong in the past 14 days. But Mike Vrabel lost his fan base in the end of the first half. I mean, there is literally zero, absolutely no. There's no excuse for not attempting to get 40 yards with 2 timeouts at 45 seconds to try to make it a 1-score game when you just got embarrassed at home. You're on national television against arguably the best team in the NFL. You got sacked 1 time, and you're that fucking scared? I mean, I don't even think Buffalo had a timeout either.
We had 2 timeouts with 45 seconds.
I don't think they had a timeout. So if they got sacked again, they still wouldn't be able to do anything. It's just laughable doesn't do it justice. What we're experiencing right now with guys who are getting paid a lot of money to game plan and run a football team to the best of their ability. And it's just an absolute embarrassment to the people that spend their hard-earned money to wear these colors, to go to these games, to support this team. And they're spitting on our face. They're literally spitting in our face. And we're going to get into John Robinson in a little bit because I got a little something to say about him, because now the shit's up against the wall. And now this fan base has given him and the whole organization a very long leash, and the jig's up. We're 0-2, first time in 10 years. I'm throwing all this shit up against the wall. So we're going to get into that in a minute. But let's get into the defense. I mean, we got to talk about the defense. Vin, you can start us off. Really, again, nothing to write home about outside of maybe one guy. And it's getting scary. I know depth's a problem, but there's still guys that are supposed to be making plays that aren't. And I don't know where we turn here. What do you think?
Well, not to backtrack either. Well, while we were talking about the first half, I wanted to throw in too that for whatever reason, we decided not to challenge Amani Hooker's interception, which to me looked like an interception. Not saying it would have made all the difference in the world. We lost 41-7, but that kind of play takes 7 points out of their hands, puts the ball in our hands, kills the momentum a little bit. But
it was within 2 minutes, just so you know. That's why he couldn't challenge it. I'm pretty sure that's what they said on the broadcast. From what I remember, I think in the first half, within 2 minutes, it's got to be from the booth.
No, I don't think so.
That's what I remember.
That is the rule, but I don't remember what time it was.
I think we could have challenged it.
If that is the rule, then that is what happened, because it was within 2 minutes. Because they scored on that play, and then we had the ball with about a minute when we got the return and ran the clock out. So that's, I mean, the officiating wasn't very good at this game either. And we don't need to get into that because it really didn't matter at the end of the day. But I'm sorry, Vin, continue.
No, it's all right. Well, I didn't know if that was the situation or not. I thought it happened earlier in the half than that, but either way, I mean, I spoke highly of their defense last week. I think I said top 5, 6, or 7, which I think when we're fully loaded, playing to the best of our abilities, we showed we can be that. We had a ferocious defensive line. The end of the year last year, I mean, one of the best safety combos in the league with Byard and Hooker. Linebacking core should be playing a lot better than it is. But I mean, I'm not even trying to give them the benefit of the doubt. This is still the bright spot of the team. I mean, we have Jeffrey Simmons and Kevin Byard on the same defense. We just, I don't know. As an offense, we put them in bad situations, but I mean, as a defense, we just have so many holes right now. Our linebackers are playing. We hyped up David Long last year like he was, we needed him more than we needed fucking oxygen. We got Cunningham off waivers. He's looked fucking awful.
$9.5 million wasted so far.
And outside of Jeffrey Simmons, I mean, we lost Howard Landry, Bud Dupree is hurt. Autry hasn't looked the same. I mean, I don't know. I just feel like one thing's bouncing off the other here. We just can't seem to put it together in any aspect. And the worse our offense looks each week, and it is looking worse and worse. And I said to Jared, we're going to struggle to score 20 all year. And we're all at the point now where we're lucky if we're scoring a few touchdowns a game. We're going to continue to put our defense in bad situations, and our defense is going to look a lot worse than it actually is, probably because of how inept our offense is. So I'm giving the defense the benefit of the doubt because I still think we have premier players on that side of the ball. But I don't know. The whole team is in shambles, defense included. But I'm a little biased for guys like Byard and Simmons and whatnot. And I do think it's still the bright side of this team. But yeah, I mean, listen, last night we played the Bills too. Josh Allen's going to win MVP if he stays healthy. Stephon Diggs is the best receiver in football right now. They're humming. They're fucking clicking on all cylinders. So I'm not using that as an excuse. But I mean, against the Giants, we played pretty solid defense aside from a few plays. Last week, we ran into a team that, playing at home, best team in the league, probably have the MVP of the league on the team right now. So I think that's another reason why I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. But all in all, there's no excuses for any phase of this team, offense, defense, special teams. So
yeah,
that's what I have to say about that.
Problem is the secondary is terrible. Go ahead, Jared.
You're missing the you're not missing the whole point on that. You hit on everything spot on, but it's the secondary that's the issue right now. And I'm not even pointing out Byard and Hooker, which they can play better. It's the fucking cornerbacks. Okay, we hyped up Caleb Farley. We hyped up Caleb Farley and Roger McQuarrie and Trey Avery comes in, and Chris Jackson, who's Mike Vrabel's in love with for some reason. We hyped all those guys up all off season. Oh yeah, this is gonna be it. We got young secondary. Christian Fulton can't stay healthy. Molden, he got hurt a couple games last year. He can't stay healthy. So why not? Like I said in the beginning, why not bring in a vet? Oh, a vet or two, like they did with Jenkins, who tweeted last night at us.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he
wants $3.5 million.
He wants $3.5 million guaranteed.
Wait. He tweeted it. He tweeted it. Really?
He tweeted that.
Oh, that was in our thread when he subtweeted that guy. That was part of our thread.
He tweeted that he would come back for $3.5 million guaranteed. That just goes to show you, like, these corners are a fucking joke.
And they should have gotten him. He should have been on a plane already.
I mean, you got Joe Hayden and Chris Harris still out there too.
Yeah. Well, this is a good segue.
Just go after one of these guys.
This is a good segue into our next topic. And again, like I said, the shit's out of the bag. The cat's out of the bag. It's all over the wall. So we're just going to dive into it. I said it earlier this morning. I stand by it, and I'm going to continue to hammer it into everyone's head until they're blue in the face. Outside of Ravel, who's been a shell of himself as a coach since his coach of the year of last year, basically all of this is going to fall on John Robinson. It is. You want to build Super Bowl teams, it comes from the draft. It always has, and it always will. Okay, a lot of players from Kansas City, they were brought in from the jump from Kansas City, and that's why they won a Super Bowl. Number one, arguably the best player in the world. So I'm going to go quickly through some of the draft picks around the time where we were one of the best teams in the league and when we actually went to the Super Bowl. And then I'm going to go down to more recently, the last 5 or 6 draft picks of the John Robinson era. And you tell me whether or not it trends in the direction that you need to build Super Bowl teams for the draft. So we're going to start with quickly 93. Okay. Brad Hopkins, tackle, pretty good player. I made the Pro Bowl at some point. Henry Ford, I can't believe that was actually a football player outside of the car manufacturer. Okay, 95, Steve McNair, pretty good player, right? After that, these are all number one these are all first round picks. Rest in peace, by the way. These are all first round picks, and that's it. After that, Eddie George, pretty good, I'd say. Kenny Holmes, I couldn't tell you much about. 98, Dyson, decent. He's famous because of the play.
Yeah, never lived up to the hype. But he was...
literally, some people say like he was an all-time great Titan receiver. They're out of their minds, but decent player. After that, Javon Curse, I'd say fairly good player. Then Keith Bullock, I'd say a pretty damn good fucking player. Then Albert Hainsworth, I'd say a pretty good player. Okay, Andre Woolfolk, we all heard of him. He was decent. He was a decent defensive back, nothing crazy, but never made any Pro Bowls. Pac-Man Jones, a lot of trouble, decent defensive back. And then you get into some shit. Now we're going to go into now. Okay. We're going to start with John Robinson's first overall pick and then down to his latest. Only first rounds. That's it. That's the most important. I don't care what anybody says. You're lucky if you hit in the other rounds, but number one, first overall pick has got to be your best chance at a hit. We're going to start with Jack Conklin. Arguably his second best pick as a GM in the first round. Didn't keep him. See ya. All pro, first year all pro.
Didn't even pick up a good option.
Yeah, didn't even pick. Adios. Went to Cleveland. A lot of injuries, I will say, but he's always been in the top class of his position. Okay, Corey Davis. Pretty good, pretty decent. Didn't give him a second chance. Said, go to the Jets, make an extra $2 million. Can we use him today? Okay, let's move on. Adoree Jackson, pretty good defensive back. Starting caliber defensive back. See you later. He wanted too much money. Okay. Rashad Evans, bust. Total bust. By the way, you could also put Adoree and Corey in the bust category if you want to. But just for John Robinson, for the little bit of respect I still have for him, I'm going to say not the worst picks. Corey Davis, Adoree Jackson. Okay. Jeffrey Simmons, his best first overall pick he'll ever get. I mean, literally, he'll ever take. Isaiah Wilson, Caleb Farley, Treylon Burks. Okay, so is there a possibility Caleb Farley turns it on? Yeah, I'd say it's about a 5% chance. As it looks now, he's an epic bust. Isaiah Wilson, not going to waste anyone's time. Arguably the worst pick in the franchise's history. And now Treylon Burks, we're holding on to a thread that he becomes half of what AJ Brown is. My point is, this guy has gotten so much fucking leash room, including myself, me probably the most, because I said once we got Julio, I'm never going to bash this guy again. But this is the situation we fall into where I'm going back on my word and I'm going to fucking hammer this guy. He's thought he's better than everyone else since the day he got here with his moves. He didn't value any of the talent that he had on the team enough to keep them around. And now we are arguably the worst team in the division, a year removed from being the number one seed in the AFC. So it is a failure of epic proportions on his part. Everything he's tried to do is all imploding on top of us now. And I'm done. I'm done. The John Robinson era to me is over. I don't want him back. He's going to be back because we just extended him, I think, till another 2 or 3 years. But I have no respect for him as a GM anymore because he's ruined this franchise and he ruined our best chance last year to win it. I'll give it to you to agree, disagree, but it's time to just read the writing on the wall, in my opinion, and that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, I'm not going to say he ruined the franchise. I mean, after
our best chance at winning a Super Bowl. I'm sorry, he didn't ruin the franchise, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, because until he came in and brought Ravel in, I mean, we were where you said we'll stop there because we went through some shit. You know, we were in that shit for a while with that exception of the 1-13-3 season. And then once, Amy Adams took over, Malarkey took us to the playoffs one year. Mariota had a few good years, winning records. But, he put this team together that almost went to a Super Bowl, that has been to the playoffs the last 3 years. But I completely agree. In the first, I'm not even going to say the first round. The first 2 rounds, you should really hit every pick. Well, not you should hit, but the teams that hit those picks in the first 1, 2, 3 rounds are the teams that, make the most noise. And I give the guy credit. He's had balls. He's made some moves. I think he's a classic case of thinking you're smarter than you actually are. And I think Ravel fits into that category a little bit as well.
Yep.
With stubbornness. There's no doubt they're top level, intelligence when it comes to football, no doubt about it. But I mean, there's a difference between, the Kansas Cities, the Baltimores, the Indianapolises of the past, the New Englands of the past. And the reason why they were always competitive and always threats to win is because they were well run from the top. And we just can't seem to get over that hump where in the early 90s, we lived were we competitive? Yeah. Lived in the shadows, though, of the New Englands, the Oaklands, the Indianapolises, the Baltimores. And here we are 20 years later, almost competitive again, but can't get past the top tier teams. And, it starts at the top. The guys turn the team around, and guess what? He's not going to get fired because he has a couple years left. Neither will Vrabel. You just kind of have to hope that they, I don't know, change something in the scouting department. Who the fuck knows what the deal is? Is their training staff inept? Because I can't remember a team having more injuries than we had last year, or as many as we have early on this year. So this team has a lot of holes, from the roster down to the fucking front office, and who knows, the training staff, the scouting department. But I'll give the guy the benefit of the doubt. We were never Super Bowl contenders really until we had him, and we had some years where I think that window's passed, unfortunately, and we're in half a transition phase right now. But I'm not ready to can the guy or call for his job, but he needs to be better because there are some picks here that are just inexcusable. So,
Yeah, I mean, I said what I said about John Robinson and Mike Vrabel in the beginning of the podcast. And there's nothing really for more me to even say after what you guys just said. But all I'm going to say is, if I had to say something about them, why not fuck the picks just like the Rams do? If you're not hitting on these guys, why don't you take a shot like Pittsburgh did with Mika Fitzpatrick? Why don't you take a shot like the Rams did with Stafford and go after Aaron Rodgers or somebody else of that caliber, a wide receiver that we need if we're not on these picks? Because literally the last, I think, what was it, 3 or 2 drafts, Isaiah Wilson and the Caleb Farley, the last 2 drafts besides this past one, because we haven't seen him play yet, have been all busts. The 2021 and the 2000 class have been all busts. Trade those fucking picks, man. Go get whoever you want and try to win now. I know they're not going to do it, but it's working from other teams. How does the Rams have all this star power and cap situation with all those guys on their teams? Yeah. I mean, I don't get it. I mean, you're tied up at the left tackle, making $15 million a year, can stay on the field. Hasn't played a full season since 2017. Derrick Henry's making $16 million a year, and Ryan Tannehill's making 35. Yeah. So that's 3 players right there on offense.
And they just pushed his money up to more money for this year.
I mean,
million this year.
Well, here's the thing, though. Like, what are you treating your picks at this point to do? That's going to change anything.
I'm just saying he could have in general. Yeah, okay. Not going forward.
In that case,
now,
100%.
Just say, hey, 100%. Fuck the picks, dude.
Of course. Listen, we could have had Russell Wilson.
I wouldn't even say Russell Wilson. If anything, if you're going to go after the juggernaut, you go after Aaron Rodgers.
All right, then we'll say Aaron Rodgers.
Because
I don't want to hear the money, and we could fucking give me a break, okay? If there's a will, there's a way. They had no real intentions of trying to bring either of these guys in, just like they had no real intentions of bringing in Tom Brady when Tannehill was due for his contract.
I think that's the motherfucker Brady's talking about.
It could be. We don't even know. Frankly, I don't think it is, because Tannehill was on fire that previous year. So it wouldn't make really much sense for him to say that after, the guy has a career year. But right, wrong, or indifferent, we could have had Tom Brady. We could have had Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski on the Tennessee Titans with arguably a top 3 defense in the franchise's history.
You're going to make me throw my computer.
It's all collectively a big fucking joke. As we've already said, John Robinson's always thought he's 3 steps ahead of everybody else. And now you're staring at the monster that you created. You created a team with no identity, with horrible coaching. I don't give a fuck anymore. Vrabel is a fucking ass clown. I don't care anymore. Did you hear what he said on the fucking presser today? I'm not going to repeat it. You want to see it, go watch it. I'm telling our audience here. It was deplorable. He spit in every fan of this football team's face today. So I'm done with him. He's the same way as this other fucking guy. Thinks he's smarter than everybody else. We're not changing anything. Fuck you. Okay. This isn't New England, buddy. Okay. This is Nashville, Tennessee. You don't need to bring every fucking aspect of your old team to the team that you coach. Okay, because that's something fucking Belichick would say after a 70-point loss. We're not changing anything. We're moving on to Vegas. Okay, give me a fucking break. Hold somebody accountable. You have no problems holding your players accountable. How about you hold some of your fucking coaching staff accountable? This season's a waste. We'll get into Malik Willis now quickly. I'm sorry. Obviously, in the grand scheme of things, if you really want your best opportunity to claw into the playoffs, probably is best to keep Tannehill in. But realistically, we're wasting time that we're going to need to get this kid acclimated to the league by not playing him now. Like I said on Twitter, the gap that we all set between Willis and Tannehill, let's say it was here before the season started. It's about here now, okay? Because the advantage Willis has over Tannehill is all he needs to do is step forward when he doesn't see anything, and he can get a first down. This is a game of inches. Every first down matters. You're not telling me
he's still gonna have to throw the ball now.
Okay,
just to the same receivers as Tannehill's struggling with.
But you're not going to tell me that we wouldn't have gotten more first downs in the first half with Malik Willis at quarterback than we were going Ryan Tannehill with the pressure that Buffalo was bringing. This guy likes to run without the pressure. You bring the pressure, he runs. Then Buffalo's got to make some kind of adjustment. Maybe we can't send 6 anymore because this kid's going to bust up the middle and get 15 yards. That's where the gap shrinks for me. Yes, the kid needs better aim. He needs better target. He needs better accuracy. But he closes the gap with Tannehill with his legs because Tannehill doesn't use his legs unless we fucking force him to. And this kid wants to use his legs all the time. And that's where he makes up the ground on the accuracy, in my opinion. So I went on a rant. I'm sorry. I'm fucking rambling. Are you taking anything away from this game as far as Malik Willis's progression as an NFL quarterback, Ben?
Yeah, I think he looked. We got a few first downs when he came in the game. Definitely looked like. If he puts it together, it could be good. But that style quarterback's always worried me a little bit. I think someone like that's always prone to more hits and. You got to keep your quarterback upright. And there's a difference between a guy like him and a guy like Josh Allen or Cam Newton, who's 6'5", 250. And yet, Cam, he's out of the league now, but he won an MVP, almost won a Super Bowl. So I think there's guys that are going to do it. And it's, better off when the guys with monstrous size do it. All that, though, being said, he is looked a little electrifying, little Lamar to his game. So I hope it doesn't get to the point where we're 1-6 and we say, fuck it, let's see what this kid's got, because I think you could fuck a kid's, progression up if you put him in there too early. But yeah, I don't know. I mean,
listen, if we lose this week, which I really think we're gonna.
I don't know. I'm giving us more of a chance than you guys are, to be honest. I mean,
well, let's talk about the Vegas thing before we get into, keep going with Malik Willis. You got an offensive line, like I said, you have two starters who are career backups, Ben Jones, who's aging, and you got MPF over on the right-hand side. You have Chandler Jones, and arguably, probably, in my opinion, one of the best, if not the best, defensive lineman in the league in Max Crosby, okay? That guy's motor does not fucking stop, okay? If you think Von Miller was getting to the quarterback, Max Crosby is going to get to the quarterback, and it's going to be hell for us in the run game this weekend at home. So if I'm a betting man, I'm betting the Raiders -2. I don't give a shit what any of the fans say.
Of course,
we are not beating the fucking Raiders. and my brother's a fucking Raider fan. So now I got to hear it from my wife and all my friends because the Giants beat us, and now I got my fucking brother as a Raider fan. I might as well crawl under a rock. Forget about it.
Where's your advantage outside of being home? As far as this game's concerned, there are zero. There's none. You have no advantage with the run game right now. Okay, no one's going to tell me Derrick Henry's going to start averaging 6 yards a carry.
Speaking of the run game,
not.
since we know he's probably not going to be with the team next year either, let's just fucking give this kid ball a million times a game, an ounce, milk every ounce of football he's got left. I mean, we clearly have no fucking identity.
We're trying to. We're still trying to, but we can't. We can't give it to him on 3rd and 8 after he just ran 2 times for a yard. We're trying to give him the ball 30 times.
Dude, he's got. I'm arguing with people left and right on Twitter. He's got 3 people in the backfield every time he's getting the ball. It's so vanilla, the offense. They know that he's getting the ball. How many toss sweeps did we run yesterday?
Yeah, the run blocking's not good, but
how many toss sweeps?
It's beyond that. He doesn't have the explosiveness. He's not making his cuts like
he's getting hit in the backfield. He can't get it going.
Listen, my dad will tell you. I said that too when he was getting upset about it. I said, listen, nobody, Adrian Peterson wouldn't be able to break free when he can't even get past the line of scrimmage without having 2 guys on his back. But when he's getting past the line of scrimmage and he's getting into the second level, he's not doing anything with it. Everyone sees it. Listen, he's still averaging as a whole after 2 games like 1.8 yards carry. Okay, that's not, you're the best running back in the world allegedly. That can't be the case. I'm sorry. Back to it. Where the fuck was I? Yeah. Well, yeah. Listen, we have no advantage to the Raiders whatsoever. We don't have a passing advantage. We don't have a receiver advantage. We don't have a defensive advantage. Maybe you can make an argument if Fulton comes back, we can maybe go toe-to-toe defensively with them, but arguably probably not. We're not winning this game. We're going 0-3. Okay, we're going 0-3. When we go 0-3, you have to, unless Tannehill throws, unless it's a shootout, which again, how is it going to be a shootout with who? Nick Westbrook, Keenan is going to go toe to toe with fucking Devontae Adams. No, okay. So when we lose this game and Tannehill has another mediocre performance, which he will, you gotta put him in. You got to put him in against the Colts, who are going to also be 0-3. Because don't forget, guys, it is important to keep your fans engaged. Obviously, your most important job is to get to the playoffs.
And after what Ravel said today, what makes you think he's going to fucking keep us appeased?
Because he could say whatever he wants on the podium, okay? You need to sell tickets. You need to sell tickets to the games. If this team goes 0-3 at home, and I'm not saying it's going to happen because this team surprises me and shocks me on a daily or weekly basis. But anyone with a fucking brain cell would say to yourself, all right, this kid's probably going to get the ball next year anyway. We're 0-3. This guy is not elevating this little talent he does have because, again, the protection might be bad, but if you're a playmaker, you can elevate at least what you had. He's not elevating anyone's talent on this team. So you're 0-3. You're going to Indianapolis. You need to give this team some juice because they have none right now. They have 0, and they're going to have even less when this team goes 0-3 for the first time. And I think 14 years or something like that. So they really need to do it. I can't say if they will because they're a joke of an organization at the moment, but I think you have to do it when they lose next week. Anyway, I know you both disagree, but
I think that move happens at 6 to 8 weeks. The reason why is because you're going to put this kid in, let's say in week 4 with a depleted offensive line and no receiving core, where you're setting up this kid to fucking fail. You know, I don't want to ruin this kid before, we even get a hold of him really. I think you'd be putting this kid in a shitty fucking situation with no offensive line and no receivers.
And what's going to happen next year, though? We're going to fix the offensive line like this next year? It's going to be the same thing.
But I mean, there's a difference between giving him a whole nother offseason and giving your GM the chance to, right his wrongs a little bit, as opposed to throwing this kid in week 4. Not saying it can't happen, Sal. I just don't think it's happening now.
It's going to have nothing to lose. Right.
But if we're still in that division, race, I think Tannehill is going to be the quarterback until we're out of it.
What if he has a miserable performance? What if he throws 2 picks and has 160 yards for no touchdowns?
Yeah, well,
that's possible. It's very possible.
Well, then what makes you think fucking Malik Willis is going to do any better?
That's not the question, though. If
he has another Willis gets hurt now.
That would be unfortunate. Then you put Tannehill right back in the game. But I'm asking you, if Tannehill has another abysmal performance, which is incredibly possible, how do you still sit there and make the argument that this guy gives the team the best chance to win when he cannot extend plays as a quarterback?
That's the only thing he has going for him right now. Even if he
But-
was in this, I understand what you're saying.
You don't
But-
know that. You're assuming that.
No, I'm not, because if you're talking about extending the plays, he's extending the plays with his legs. Like, yes, but he still has to throw. He still has to throw the ball.
But-
These fucking
okay.
receivers.
What, you didn't see him throw the ball on the run in the preseason? But I'm not saying extending plays meaning running past the line of scrimmage. I mean avoiding sacks and letting the ball go.
Yeah, but it's the
this
receivers.
guy doesn't do.
No, it's the
That's not-
receivers. They got to get open, man.
Okay.
There's no fucking threat.
But I'm saying if
Setting his
Tannehill
up,
has
yeah.
a bad performance that doesn't necessarily show the light on the wide receivers he has, if he's thrown into triple coverage, if he's making mistakes, if he's fumbling the ball, whatever the fuck he does, if he has another Buffalo Bills performance, we can't sit here and say, all right, still going into Indianapolis, Ryan Tannehill gives us the best chance to win. You can't say it anymore because the one intangible Willis has that we know, we don't need to wait and see. We know he has that he can extend a play, and Tannehill cannot extend a play. So right off the bat, that shrinks your gap immediately because a guy who can extend a play and a guy who might be a little bit better accuracy wise, but can't extend a play, there can't be a large gap there. So again, if you lose again, we can't keep singing this song like, I know it sucks, everyone's fucking up, but Tannehill's still the best opportunity. No, that should be out. In my opinion, it should have been out the window last night. But I'll give everyone another week because it's doesn't matter because we're in a shit division.
I just
in
don't
my
think
opinion,
it's going to happen this early. It's not going to happen this early. I hear you. I do.
Well, at least
I just don't think what.
I said, at least you understand where I'm coming from.
Oh yeah, of course. I understand the frustration and the logic and the decision. I just think, it's not going to happen right now. I think that's something that, I think it'll be more of like the season's loss. Let's give this kid 5, 6, 7 games and get his feet wet for next year. We'll see what happens with this coaching staff. I wouldn't be surprised if they let Tannehill fucking sink this team like the Titanic and we go 1-15. I don't know.
Uncharted territory, that certainly would be.
Yeah. I'm not even like mad when my friends text me and break my balls. I'm like, yeah, I know we're bad. You're not like
I just don't answer nobody anymore.
I don't answer anyone. I got 90 texts when fucking Bullock missed a kick. I didn't answer a single one.
Yeah. And then I got really, I get a lot of AJ Brown texts, and I said something not very nice to. Finally, I snapped. This kid texted me, and he's bald, and he just got married. So he said, "Do you miss AJ Brown yet?" And I said, "Yes, I do. Probably as much as you miss your hairline."
That's good.
And then I said, "And by the way, congrats on the new marriage. I just want to let you know that 50% of all marriages end in divorce. Good luck, though." And he wasn't very pleased with my response. But
Yeah.
You're about the 15th person to ask me about AJ fucking Brown. So
I know.
somebody would get bound to feel the wrath, but yeah, I don't even give a fuck anymore.
Last thing I'll say about Willis and the fact you don't want to throw him in. I got the last thing, and I'm serious. Okay. In all reality, okay, I would say hindsight, but like just from an outsider looking in, if you got a team with a pretty bad offensive line, and you got a guy who can step up under pressure instantly and either launch one or run, wouldn't that not necessarily give you an opportunity to maybe help out your offensive line a little bit? Because then your defense that you're facing has to decide, well, what poison are we trying to pick? Are we trying to get this guy under pressure, or are we trying to spy and try to keep him from running? So realistically, and I'm not saying it would definitely happen, but I'm saying if you had a quarterback that had that ability, it does make you kind of game plan a little differently about how you're going to move around that defensive line. If you're going to send 5, if you're going to keep one back. So it's something to think about. Again, I come back to the same topic over and over again. In this league, not only do you have to throw to win, but you got to be able to extend plays to quarterback. You look at all the best ones out there, they all do it on a nightly or daily basis. Every week they're extending plays. That 4th down with Josh Allen before the first half, what happened? He rolls left, up, everyone's covered, check down's covered, boom, turns to the right on a fucking dime, bang, throws it. That's a guy who can extend a play. That's a guy who's a playmaker. We don't have that right now. We think we might have that. We got to see. But again, the gap, nobody's telling me there's a mile long gap between Malik Willis on September 20th and Ryan Tannehill on September 20th. You just can't, because if Ryan Tannehill could extend plays, then I give you that benefit of saying, okay, maybe he can wait, but he can't. So we'll see how that goes. I don't know. Let's do fucking score predictions for this first of many, just torturous games we're gonna have to sit through, because the gauntlet is coming, folks. The schedule gauntlet is on its way, and this is almost like an appetizer of what's to come. Well, what do you think this final score is going to be like, Jared?
Honestly, I really don't want to predict it, because I know I'm going to be sitting next to my brother with this whole fucking game, and I'm going to be hearing it. But I honestly think if I had to, I really want the Titans to win.
Of course.
But I don't see it happening. I think the Raiders are going to sneak by with a 23-20 victory, because we have not fucking scored more than 20.
I was going to say that's actually generous of you to actually believe we're going to score 20 points.
No, well, we haven't scored anything over 20 points, so I think it'll be 23-20, and I would
be thrilled to lose by 3. If we score 20 points, I might believe we have a shot to beat the Colts the week after. I don't know where those 20 points are coming.
Listen, I'm more worried about the Raiders scoring, because the fucking cornerbacks are atrocious. And if Stephon Diggs alone did what he did on Monday, you have Renfro, you have Waller, and you have Adams.
Yeah, 23 points with that secondary.
With 3 fucking rookie starting quarterbacks.
God bless you. God bless you, Jarrett, for your optimism. 23 points.
That's what I'm hoping for, but I may be falling back on it, but we'll see what happens.
Then,
I want to be a little different. And I said it earlier, I have a little more faith in this team, I guess, this week than you guys. I'm going to say we win this game 27-24.
Bravo for saying that without even
chuckling
once.
Someone's got to have a little optimism, and you too.
I do, man, and I'm the biggest. And my friends will tell you. I get text messages just like you guys. I get text messages. Blah blah blah. Listen, man, I'm at a loss of words with this franchise now.
I envy the two of you. Where is the optimism coming from? We don't have a glimpse of the old Derrick Henry to view on tape right now.
We have nothing.
Our starting left tackle, who's arguably overrated to begin with, but still the best offensive lineman we have, he's out for the year. You got no depth at wide receiver. You don't even know if Fulton's going to fucking practice this week, let alone play.
He didn't practice today.
Your corners are atrocious. You have guys that were playing in Piscataway last year, playing in fucking Nashville, Tennessee. Avery from Rutgers, couldn't pick him out of a lineup if my family's life depended on it. I mean, where is the optimism coming? I'm not trying to be a jerk off. If you guys seriously believe this is going to be a close game or we might win, I envy that optimism. I used to have it. This team sucked me dry of it. I got nothing left. I think this is a 35-10 game, maybe 14. 35-14 then. I'll give him 2 touchdowns. 35-14. Where does this team stop Derek Carr, Darren Waller, Hunter Renfro? That running back they got, not too bad. Pretty underrated if you ask me. Oh, yeah. And the best wide receiver on the fucking planet. Where is that? Where is the stop?
I think we get to Derek Carr more than we did with Allen, and I think
more than the one time we touched Allen. I sure fucking hope so.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, Derek Carr is not Josh Allen to begin with, but he
can extend plays.
He's a very solid quarterback, but I think we get to him this week. That's why I think it's going to be close.
Yeah, he's also prone to a bad mistake every now and again.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think we'll come out with a little more balls than we did. Before.
At home, sense of urgency, 0-3. Yeah. I mean, they're gonna do the same thing. Trust me. I mean, my brother says it all the time. It's who's jumping off the bridge this weekend, me or you?
Jared, I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at what a piece of shit situation this team put us in. That we gotta say, sense of urgency. Jesus fucking! If there wasn't enough sense of urgency 2 weeks ago, after the most embarrassing playoff loss in the franchise, not team, the franchise's history. That was worse than the Bills comeback against the Oilers. I don't care what anybody says. because it was a dominating defense performance and a disgusting offensive performance. I'm sure my dad's going to be pissed at me for saying that it was worse than that game, because I know I can't even begin to think about what he felt during that game, because I know it was an awful, awful disaster. But the bottom line is I don't see where this team starts to rebound. There's holes all over the fucking joint. We're forgetting that we still have an unreliable kicker, which we didn't even need to use last night. But, every point's going to be essential against these big teams. And you don't know if this guy's going to miss a 40-yarder, 38-yarder. You don't know. So we got another question mark that nobody's even talking about, a kicker. The holes are everywhere. 35-14. That's my guess. I hope I'm wrong, obviously, because a win would be gigantic for your hopes of making the playoffs if you still believe we could do anything in the AFC, which I envy you if you do. But it's just I'm at a Scrooge point of my fanhood right now. There's nothing that can make me happy right now. I'm a pessimistic piece of shit, and I don't like being it, and I can't stop talking, and I can't shut up. It's just terrible. So I don't know, fellas, is there anything else we want to add before we close out? We covered a lot.
No, it's fucking tiring talking about these.
Yeah, I know. And the Yankees, the team that actually has a chance to bring me some happiness, they're currently on, and a guy is going to have another chance to rewrite history tonight, unlike anyone on the Tennessee Titans, besides rewriting history like they do every week. By the way, Buffalo hasn't won a fucking game Monday night in that building since I was 1 year old. In case you didn't know, I was 1 the last time the Bills won a Monday night game at home. Just so you know. Just like the Giants, who hadn't won an opening week in 7 fucking years. Okay? So this team is breaking records, not the ones you want to break. And they do it every fucking year. Okay? So my veins did pop out at the end there. I gave it a shot. I gave it a really good shot. Couldn't help myself. Any other final words, fellas, before we close this out?
No.
Speechless. It's a funeral. We're dead. Resurrect us, Titans, okay? Do your best. Play good. Protect. Don't run on first and second down every fucking possession. Throw down the field maybe once a night, please. Tighten up. Have a great night, guys.
Coach better, play better.
Fuck.